Hateful devotion. Yeah, not really something you hear every day.
Right.
It kind of throws you off, doesn't it?
It's
Like, how can you even call something hateful if it's supposed to be about, well, devotion?
it's definitely a head scratcher,
Yeah.
especially when you first hear it, right? Kind of goes against everything we usually think about when we think about devotion.
Exactly.
Which is probably why we're doing a deep dive on it. So let's dig into this. We're talking about Vidvesha Bhakti, this idea of hateful devotion and what it really means. Because like you said, it's not about hate in the way we normally think about it.
Okay, so what are we talking about then? What's the source material say about this?
Well, it's more about recognizing those parts of ourselves, those inner forces that keep us stuck, the stuff that prevents us from really connecting with the divine.
Okay, I'm getting a sense of what you're getting at.
And those parts,
Yeah.
they're called Asuras. Basically, think of them as like the internal stuff, the ego, all the desires and illusions, all that can really trip us up on our journey.
So it's not about like hating some external enemy.
Right.
It's more like what? Recognizing, maybe even going toe to toe with the stuff inside us.
You got it. It's about acknowledging those internal obstacles, confronting those, yeah.
Okay, and to get a better handle on this whole thing, we
Mhm.
got to look at these devas and asuras.
Right. Especially how they relate to each other.
Because this source material points out something pretty wild.
What's that?
They're actually family, like siblings. Can you believe that?
Siblings, huh?
Yeah. Talk about a family reunion.
Wow, yeah.
Well, what does it even mean that they're connected like that?
It's huge. It tells us that these forces, these devas and asuras, they aren't totally separate.
Okay.
They're two sides of the same coin, really.
Interesting.
And they're both inside each of us.
Okay.
The devas, they represent the good stuff.
Yeah.
All that potential we have inside, the compassion, that connection to something bigger than ourselves.
And the asuras. That's the flip side.
Exactly. Think of them as the impulses that keep us stuck. The stuff that stops us from reaching our full potential.
So basically, we have this tug of war going on inside. A little deva whispering in one ear, a little asura in the other.
And Maya, this illusion, that's the thing that makes it so hard to even see what's really going on inside.
Because we get so caught up in the outside world and all the wanting and the needing that we
Right.
totally miss the bigger picture.
And that's how this internal struggle plays out. That's how Maya keeps us from seeing clearly.
Okay. This internal struggle, is this where this Vidvesha Bhakti thing comes in?
It's all connected.
Because I still don't quite get it.
Okay. It's not about just hating these Ashura parts of ourselves, right?
Right.
It's about confronting them,
Right.
about being willing to fight to overcome them
Okay.
so we can connect with the divine.
Like how?
Well, the source material is full of these incredible stories, these epic battles between devas and asuras that illustrate exactly what we're talking about.
You mean like Paramashiva conquering the Tripura? We
Yeah.
talked about that one earlier.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Remember what those three cities, those realms, actually represent.
Refresh my memory.
They're like the ultimate bad guys, but on the inside. The three big impurities, Anavam, Kamam, and of course Maya, there would cloud our perception, keep us coming back again and again.
And just a quick reminder, because I know I need it,
Sure.
Anavam, that's that feeling of being separate, right?
Separate from the divine, yeah.
Like we're on our own.
And then there's Kamam, which is all about the consequences of what we do.
Our actions, good or bad.
Right.
And Maya, well, we've talked about that one, the illusion that keeps us from seeing things as they truly are.
That's all connected.
So when Paramashiva conquers those Tripura, that's not just some random fight.
Not at all.
It's something way deeper.
Exactly.
But how does that relate to, our lives? I mean, I'm not exactly out here fighting demons or anything.
Think of it like this. Those cities, those realms, they're like the strongholds of our own egos, the places where we get stuck.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
And Paramashiva conquering them, that's like a powerful reminder that we have that power inside us too.
You're saying we can conquer our own limitations.
To overcome the stuff that prevents us from experiencing our true nature.
That's a pretty amazing thought.
Right.
But here's a question. If this whole internal struggle thing is so important, why does it sometimes feel like we're going up against the divine?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Does that even make sense?
It does. It's like the divine is giving us a wake-up call.
A wake-up call.
Yeah. It's all over the source material, this concept.
Interesting.
And to really understand it, we got to look at the story of Mahavishnu subduing Mahabali.
Okay, hit me with it. Who's Mahabali?
He was this super powerful king, but his pride, his ambition, it was out of control.
Oh, boy.
He actually conquered the heavens. That's how ambitious he was.
That's never a good sign.
No, not at all.
What happened?
Well, Mahabali's actions, they were all about ego. So Vishnu, he decides to intervene, but he does it in a totally unexpected way. He appears as a dwarf.
A dwarf.
A dwarf.
Okay.
He's totally unassuming, and he goes up to Mahabali and asks for this seemingly tiny favor.
What's that?
3 paces of land.
3 paces.
That's it.
Sounds harmless enough, right?
Well, here's the thing. With those 3 steps, Vishnu covers everything, the heavens, the earth, even the underworld.
Whoa!
He basically puts Mahabali back in his place. But, and here's the important part, it was done in a way that ultimately led to Mahabali's own liberation.
So there's a method to the madness.
Exactly. And that gets to the heart of what Vidvesha Bhakti really is.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the connection? So you're saying that sometimes we need a cosmic reality check.
It's not that the divine likes messing with us or anything.
Right.
Think of it like, a parent letting their kid fall down.
Okay.
It's going to happen. They're going to skin their knee.
Right.
But they learn from it.
It's part of growing up.
Exactly. So in a way, the divine is helping us let go of the stuff that's holding us back, even if it doesn't feel good at the time. It's about freeing us from those ego-driven attachments so we can experience true spiritual freedom.
And that's what Vidvesha Bhakti is all about.
Yeah. It's about saying yes to those challenges, those moments when we're thrown off balance.
Even when it's hard.
Especially when it's hard. Because it's in those moments that we can really connect with something bigger than ourselves.
So we should be facing those asura parts of ourselves head on.
We gotta. With the same kind of intensity that Vishnu showed when he confronted Mahabali.
You're saying we should actually be grateful for those parts of ourselves.
Think of them as teachers. But every time we face those shadow parts of ourselves, we get a little closer to understanding who we really are.
So when those icky asura thoughts pop up, the jealousy, the frustration, it's not about, self-judgment.
It's about recognizing the opportunity for growth.
Okay, now we're talking. But how does this fit with the whole loving, compassionate God thing? It seems a little contradictory.
Because we tend to think of devotion as something soft and gentle.
Right, like cozy and comforting, not fierce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the divine works on a whole other level. A level that goes beyond our limited human understanding.
You mean like love and compassion? Those are just human ideas.
Even those can get filtered through our egos,
It's true. We can get pretty caught up in our own ideas about what love should look like.
Right, like we think we're loving someone, but are we really? Or are we just trying to keep them small, keep them from changing because it makes us feel safer?
So true.
True love, the kind of love the divine has for us, that's about letting go, allowing for growth, even when it's hard.
So maybe these cosmic wake-up calls, they're actually the ultimate act of love.
Right, because sometimes we need a little tough love to break free.
And speaking of tough love, the source material had some pretty wild examples of this, like Ravana, the demon king from the Ramayana.
Oh yeah, him. Remember, he's the one who kidnapped Sita.
Totally. Not a great guy.
But even Ravana, as powerful as he was, he lets his ego lead him to his downfall.
That sounds familiar. It's like the classic tragic hero story, but with a cosmic twist.
Exactly. But here's the kicker. Even though he's defeated by Rama, he still achieves liberation. He ends up in Vaikuntha, Vishnu's divine abode.
No way! You're kidding! I never would have guessed that ending for Ravana.
It's wild, right?
So even though he was, kind of a jerk, that final confrontation with the divine actually set him free.
It's like a reminder that no matter how far we stray, no matter what we do,
there's always a chance for redemption.
Yeah. And that potential for transformation, it's always there.
Always.
Even when we feel totally lost and disconnected. Even when we're acting out in ways that seem, kind of demonic. And there's another story like this, too. Remember Sisupala?
He was the one who was obsessed with Krishna, right?
Obsessed might be putting it mildly. More like consumed by hatred.
Yeah.
And it lasted his entire life.
Wow. And how'd that turn out for him?
About as well as you'd expect. He's eventually killed by Krishna. But even in that final moment, something incredible happens. He breaks free from that cycle of hatred.
Seriously?
And merges with Krishna's divine consciousness.
Wow. That's one way to settle a grudge, I guess.
So you see, it's not about being perfect, always doing the right thing. It's about remembering that the divine is present in every experience, even the tough ones.
It's about trusting that even when things are hard, even when it feels like we're going through hell, there's a bigger plan unfolding.
And that's the beauty of Vidvesha Bhakti, right? It's an invitation to embrace the whole human experience, the good, the bad, the ugly.
And to remember that even those parts that make us cringe, Those can be the greatest opportunities for growth.
If we're brave enough to face them, that is.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. It's going to sting for a minute,
Oh, yeah,
but then, relief.
exactly. Vivesha Bhakti, it's about radical honesty.
And radical self-acceptance. It's about showing up as we are with all our flaws and contradictions.
Because that's where the real growth happens.
So it's not about chasing some perfect state of bliss.
It's about the journey, right?
Yeah, it's about showing up every day and doing the work.
Embracing the messiness, the ups and downs.
Because that's where the real magic happens, isn't it?
Exactly. When we stop trying to be perfect and start being real, that's when we can truly connect with who we're meant to be. Remember all that talk about Devas and Asuras, light and shadow, it's all part of the same tapestry.
It's like we said earlier, we gotta be willing to look at it all, even the ugly stuff.
Because here's the thing, those Asuras, those shadow parts of ourselves, they're not there to torture us.
They're actually trying to teach us something.
They're our teachers, pushing us to grow, to evolve. Each time we confront them, we break free a little bit more. We step into our power.
It's like we have to become our own heroes, battling those inner demons.
And the coolest part, we already have everything we need to win those battles.
It's all inside us, waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. Vidvesha Bhakti, it's about tapping into that inner strength, that unwavering commitment to our own liberation.
You know, it's amazing how much our perspective has shifted since we started this deep dive. We went from hateful devotion, which, let's be honest, sounded a little scary, to realizing it's actually about radical self-acceptance.
Right. It's about saying yes to all parts of ourselves, even the messy, imperfect ones.
Because those imperfections, they're also what make us human. They're part of what makes this whole journey so incredible.
It's about recognizing the divinity in every aspect of our being. And that includes the shadows, remember the sculptor analogy, chiseling away at the stone to reveal the masterpiece within.
Vidvesha Bhakti is like that, a process of refinement, of shedding the layers that no longer serve us, to reveal the truest version of ourselves.
And that process, it's not always pretty or comfortable, but it's always worth it.
It's like those intense workout classes everyone's talking about these days.
Right.
It's tough. You're sweating. You're questioning your life choices.
But you come out the other side feeling amazing.
Yeah.
Stronger, more energized.
Ready to take on the world.
And that's exactly what Vivesha Bhakti can do for us. It can help us build that spiritual muscle, that resilience to face whatever life throws our way.
It's about recognizing that every experience, even the tough ones, is an opportunity to grow. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we wanted to leave you with this. How can you bring the spirit of Vidvesha Bhakti into your own life? How can you use it to navigate those everyday challenges, those moments when your buttons are pushed and you're tempted to give in to those Asura impulses?
It starts with awareness, noticing those patterns, those habitual reactions, and then asking yourself, what if I chose a different path this time? What if I met this challenge with compassion, with courage, with a willingness to see the opportunity for growth?
Because when we choose to approach our challenges in this way, we're not just transforming ourselves, we're transforming the world around us. And who knows, we might even inspire others to embark on their own journey of self-discovery and liberation. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep embracing all parts of yourselves, the light, the shadow, and everything in between.